Myopia in children might be grabbing all the headlines, but adults are also in the disease's crosshairs. Myopia can have a drastic effect on an adult's vision and quality of life too. So what to do? In a recent Cake magazine supplement, a consensus group of 11 world-renowned experts came together to frame the discussion on the current myopia correction landscape, including phakic IOLs. In measurement matters, the panel was conspicuously split. Consensus voting on phakic IOL sizing decisions spread recommendations between many primary measurements, including white-to-white, OCT, and UBM.
We go back to the years where the ICL was first introduced. The only method that we can rely on was the measurement of bicaliper. So the white-to-white was the basic principle. But as technology improved, we were able to use the UBM, and also the anterior segment OCT got improved a lot. So we are able to measure angle distance with the OCT. If you are a beginner, I personally recommend you to use the third-party calculator being used with the AUKUS from the Star Surgical. Then you can compare the size recommendation, and you have to make and find your nomogram for the size matters.
为什么到目前为止，就是全世界还没有一个统一的标准，说来怎么样选择 ICL 的尺寸？我觉得最主要的一个原因就是我们每一个诊所它所拥有的测量的仪器设备它是不一样的。像我们早期的话是用 iMaster 来测量白到白。后来我们拥有了 Phakic 来测量角膜的横径，那么现在呢，我们还有 UBM 来测量这个沟到沟。那么我觉得呢，沟到沟就是 UBM 这个仪器，它可以真实的来测量这个我们叫 STS Sulcus to Sulcus 这个距离。那么对我们来说，现在是非常重要的。
One thing that's universal though is all the doctors learn from their mistakes. So whatever device I have, I will see who are in the correct range of vault and who are not. And I ultimately learn, and I listen to others with similar devices, and I ultimately learn to adjust. I learned before to use the Orbscan white-to-white and the caliper. Now I have an OCT. Now I have UBM. So I check everything because that's what I have. But to default, my nomograms are based on my white-to-white. I'm willing to learn, though, about the UBM stuff because that's, I think, evolving to become the better way of measuring.
The gap between the ICL and crystalline lens is a unique and critical feature of phakic IOL implantation. According to the panel, a mean vault range of 213 to 885 microns was considered best following ICL implant.
The vault is a measurement of position, and it has consequences to other parts of the eye. If you're too close to the anterior chamber, we learned that touch on the anterior lens surface causes cataract. Well, cataract is not difficult to deal with. But if it's too high a vault and you cause an angular closure glaucoma, that's more difficult to deal with.
我还是比较同意，就是这个范围是一个比较理想的，我们叫拱高。那么，所以拱高对于长期的安全性是非常重要的。但是呢，如果术后的拱高在这个理想的范围之外，我们也不必过于的担心，只要我们的一些安全性的参数都是 OK 的。那么我相信呢，我们只要随访就可以了。当然，如果这些指标发生了一些异常，可能我们需要去更换 ICL 晶体。
Originally, the ICL was recommended being around 250 to 750. It's what the manufacturers told to be normal. But we are using the 5th generation of ICL, and it has a center hole. The vaulting being a little bit lower and lower.
With a hole in the middle, we can be more tolerant of up to 100 microns in terms of the shallowness of the vault. In terms of the high vault, if I get 1,000 microns or 1 millimeter, I'm not panicking as long as I'm looking at the angles, if they're shallow, narrow, risky, and all that.
The vaulting is kind of a tricky thing that you have to think over because lens rise comes in. Lens rise is how the lens sits for the line between the angles. So it goes below and you have the proper size and proper vaulting, but you will find the more vaulting than you expected, and you have the positive number in lens rise, you will have lower vaulting even with the proper size. I personally recommend our junior doctors to see very precisely for the lens rise, and also because it's the range of the vaulting being normal, right? 250 to 750. If you are not using the toric lens, it's spherical lens, then the low vaulting will be fine. Even with the rotation of the ICL, it will not affect the residual refractor errors. But if you're using the toric lens, astigmatism has a vector. So it sits in position as being seated with the surgeons. Then if we have the rotated ICL, then the vision will decrease. So if you're in doubt for using the toric, go for a little bit higher than the median value of the vaulting. And if you are using the spherical ICL, then the lower vaulting will be fine.
This video is just one part of our series looking at the guidelines on building proficiency in phakic IOL procedures. Scan the QR code below to access the entire supplement and learn about common practices from some of the world's best phakic IOL surgeons.